Newsleak now with Johannes Leak. Good to see you again, mate.
You too, mate.
Let's start off with Mark Knight in Melbourne, all over what's happening with the coronavirus and the Premier. He's got the ring of steel there where, of course, Melburnians are locked in with their own city. They can't travel into the regions now where the restrictions have been eased. And he's contrasted that with the ring of incompetence that was around the hotel quarantina.
Absolutely. It's just such a beautiful drawing. Every day, Mark just churns out these exquisite cartoon drawings. But yeah, look, it highlights just beautifully this complete inconsistency of approaches going back to, the hotel quarantine disaster, and now this sort of very, very heavy-handed approach where they've ratcheted up the fines and effectively put this, ring of steel around the city. I have to admit, when I first heard about Dan's ring of steel, I thought it referred to his capacity for getting up day after day and, standing there copping flack and sort of being in the firing line with this rising sense of sort of public anger. But then I found out it was all about fences and barricades and so on.
It sure was. I love how Mark Knight's got people escaping out the back here while the security guards are looking at their phones and whatnot.
Yeah.
Let's go to your cartoons. You've targeted Anastasia Palaszczuk beautifully this week. In this cartoon, you've got her looking like Cleopatra. And how are these families coping? And she says, I'm sure they're upset like everyone else, but I want to reassure them that I'm feeling a bit better today. She seems a little bit obsessed with her own situation, does the Queensland Premier. And this other one here, picking up on this astonishing story that she spent $500,000 worth of taxpayers' money on opinion polling about her restrictions in the pandemic. What's behind your border policy decision-making? She's asked by a journalist. Let's see here. An innate sense about what's right for Queensland? She's guided by the science, of course, guided by the political science, Johannes.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was trying to get there. We find out that there is this in the background. Polling is happening. It's essentially sort of political weather vane stuff. Finding out what the public sentiment is regarding the borders and acting on that. But when you hear her say things like, "I will do what's in the interests of Queenslanders," that's always what drives me. And then you find out that there's, hundreds of thousands of dollars are being paid to people to find out what people think out there.
I love the way you've got the market researchers tipping bucket loads, bag loads of money into the machine, and the machine is a slogan-o-matic. It's just beautiful. I love all those little touches. You've also had a crack at energy policy this week, and this is a beautiful drawing because it's got three different aspects of energy policy based around a Barbie. You've got Anthony Albanese and Joel Fitzgibbon over there trying to cook some tofu on a solar panel. Stop whinging and hold still, says Albo. While you've got ScoMo and Angus Taylor trying to cook their sausage over a little gas burner. While over in China, Xi Jinping, no worries, he's got all the coal fired up and he's got a suckling pig on the spit. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Well, yes, he's cooking up a slap-up feed for hundreds and thousands of guests over there, and Albo's over there with a little hairdryer, and I mean, it does. I just wanted to sort of highlight this again, a fundamental sort of inconsistency when it comes to energy policy. I mean, we ship our coal to China, and they reap the benefits, and over here, because it's such a dirty word, not to even mention nuclear. We sort of resort to ideas like gas, and that's not a completely pointless argument. But gas and renewables, these are the only things that come into the discussion because things like coal just are off the table. So that's what I was trying to do there in that one cartoon.
And we'll finish off on this lovely cartoon from Warren Brown in the Daily Telegraph, reminding us of what the last 20 years has happened. Sydney 20 years ago, of course, we're in the middle of the Olympics. Those of us who are lucky enough to be here remember what a party Sydney was, whereas Sydney in 2020 has the 5 COVID rings and things are a little bit bleak. Although I've got to say, Johannes, not as bleak here as they are in Melbourne.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say too, Chris. I mean, if that's what Sydney looks like right now, what would Warren's drawing of Melbourne look like?
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Johannes. Great to catch up again.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks, Chris.